Hey everybody, Geoff Neupert, kettlebellsecrets.com, behind the camera, Dave, over here, behind the camera. Hanging out with my good buddy Dave Whitley, the Iron Tamer from irontamer.com. And we're just answering some questions for you guys off the forum, off the Dragon Door forum. And we've got a bunch of questions on breathing. So rather than just answer all the questions one-on-one on breathing, we're going to let Dave do a quick primer for about 5 minutes here on breathing technique. All right, so Dave, what do you got for us?
I think a lot of people think that it seems ridiculous. I've been breathing all my life. Why do I need to know how to breathe? Because you don't know how to breathe. You've probably been walking all your life and you could optimize that a little more too. So we're going to talk about how to breathe for specific situations a little bit, just kind of an overview of the various different breathing techniques that we teach in the RKC School of Strength. Now, we're going to start out first by talking about diaphragmatic breathing. And if you're not familiar with the anatomy of the diaphragm, it's a big kind of mushroom-shaped muscle that attaches inside the thoracic cavity, right at the bottom of the ribs on the top, and then attaches to the pelvis. And when it contracts, it pulls down and creates negative space, drawing air into your lungs like a bellows, like blacksmiths used to use. When you open it up, it would draw air in. When you close it, it would expel air out. So when you contract the diaphragm, pull it down, draws air in, relax it, it pushes up, air expels out. Now in our society, we breathe more in our chest unless we've been taught the lost art of diaphragmatic breathing. As children, we breathe that way naturally. As we get older and get subjected to more and more psychological and physical stress, we tend to breathe more from the chest. And then that starts a snowball effect that has to do with thoracic immobility, and just a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm not really going to cover right now because I don't have time. So first of all, we're going to go back and visit diaphragmatic breathing. Gray Cook and Brett Jones introduced crocodile breath into the RKC, and it's a yoga technique. I'm going to demonstrate what it looks like. You're going to lie down on your belly. You're going to bring your hands, put them underneath your forehead. You're going to inhale so that you feel your belly pushing into the floor. And when you exhale, just kind of let it relax and sink. And what you should feel happening is the lower back moving up and down from the abdominal breath pushing into the ground. It looks like this. And if you're doing it wrong, it will look like this. This is what it looks like if you're trying to crocodile breath and you're still breathing into your chest rather than using your diaphragm and deep abdominal breathing.
And a little commentary from behind the camera. I don't know if you could see that, but Dave's shoulders are actually shrugging up to his ears. And Dave, can you do the diaphragmatic breathing again? Because unfortunately we got a black t-shirt on a black mat. So
You need me to move?
yeah, slide forward, would you? Obviously, these videos are not scripted.
They look very well thought out and planned.
And they're not. Live without a net, ladies and gentlemen.
Are we good?
We're good. Go.
Correctly?
Correctly. Yep. So you can see Dave's lower back move up, and then it drops down. I'm going to zoom in here. And you can see there are a couple of specks on the concrete, and you watch as Dave breathes, his shirt gets closer to the specks. There you go. And then as he exhales, they get further away from the specks. That's what you should be looking at.
Keep going, I'm going to start snoring. So it's very relaxing, and that relaxation that comes along with that breath will actually help out a lot with thoracic immobility stuff. It will help you to learn to breathe more deeply under stress, which is what training is. If you get more air into your lungs, then everything works better. I don't have to explain why that is. So that's kind of our fundamental baseline on what we want to do as far as breathing as it relates to everything. More specific breathing techniques that we have involve techniques to generate power and amplify nervous system output. Paul calls it power breathing. And just the very short version of it is, it's all based around compression. In Power to the People, Pavel describes something called baroreceptors, which are sensory things that exist inside your abdominal cavity. Stop me if I'm talking too technical here, but it's sensory stuff inside your abdominal cavity. And based on how much inner abdominal pressure is inside or based on how strong the inner abdominal pressure is, the baroreceptors will amplify nervous system output. He compares it to a stereo volume knob. Everything else looks the same, but the more pressure there is, the louder the amplification of the nervous system. So what we want to do is we want to brace the abs, just like the top of a swing. We're braced here. Now from there, we want to tighten up the pelvic floor and pull those muscles up, like you were trying to keep yourself from going to the bathroom if you ate some bad Mexican food. And then we also want to take the diaphragm that we were just using a minute ago and bear down with it, like you had the opposite problem. And so we've got compression coming up, compression coming down, compression coming in from all sides. So if you visualize it as being spherical, the entire sphere shrinks. And inside, you have more compression. And that amplifies nervous system output for a bunch of reasons that I don't even know. Just believe me, because Papa said so. No, it seriously does amplify nervous system output. If you think about it, if a completely untrained person, their very first thing that they do if they go to pick up something heavy is they'll go. We're wired that way. Power breathing is just a conscious decision to do it and to use a few little tricks to tweak it to make it work better. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press a couple of kettlebells. And even though it's a fairly light load for me, I'm going to use power breathing to demonstrate it. And I'm going to do a couple different things. The first one, I'm just going to hold my breath for the press. And then as I lock it out, I'm going to do the quick exhale. And the second rep, I'm going to let a little bit of that extra pressure bleed off. And it'll make this hissing sound that gets associated with us. But a lot of people do it, they just go tss, and they don't have anything here. The hissing sound is a byproduct of extreme inner abdominal pressure from generating tension. So the first rep looks like this. And then the next rep. Now I'm not just doing that to make noise. I'm doing that because I'm compressing, and the compression gets to be so much, when it hits that sticking point, a little bit of the excess has to bleed out. The third one is breathing behind the shield, which I talked about in another video we shot today on breathing for the Turkish get-up. Essentially, it's just brace, and then take shallow breaths behind your braced abs. And those are kind of the three basic things that we do. And the video's already gone too long, so I'm going to cut it off at that. Thank you very much. Dave Whitley, IronTamer.com.
And Geoff Neupert, KettlebellSecrets.com. Hope you guys enjoyed that nice little video from Dave. Thanks, bud.
You're welcome. Just push the button. Just
I'm
push.